Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to episode 28 of Southern Grace and Sass. We are on we are you have guessed it right. This is the luck of the Irish. It's our St. Patrick's Day favorite. My personal favorite anyway. Um so some updates that's been going on. I've been really busy this week. We had homecoming formal. We had the basketball tournament. I had a COVID variant. I've just been super busy, guys. And I haven't had a chance to record yet. I originally did have some TikToks planned for this episode, but I think we're just gonna bypass them. Honestly, I don't feel like I'm just too tired, guys. If I'm being honest, but it's St. Patrick's Day, and I love St. Patrick's Day. I think it's just because I'm a ginger in general, and the fact that I have some Irish roots in me. So, who knows why I really love it. But why don't we start off with some fun little traditions for St. Patrick's Day? Because traditions are important and they make us who we are. And I love a good tradition. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. But with that being said, let me just get some. Have y'all seen the Punch the Monkey side of TikTok yet? Have you? Oh my gosh. I love Punch the Monkey. My heart melts. When I was sick a couple of weeks ago, he made me feel so much better. I am not gonna. Oh my gosh. And then there's the whole cat who got jury duty, which I found hilarious, which makes my day. Also, I've been learning how to river dance. Will that work out in my favor? No. Will it probably get me in the hospital? There's a high chance it might. Y'all know, like from my TikToks and whatever, I'm not a dancer. I barely walk as it is. It is a common phrase for me. It is a common phrase for my friend Shay and everyone around me, do not fall. First of all, I haven't fell yet. Yet being the operative word. But yes. But with that being said, why don't we go over some traditions? The first one is search for a four-leaf clover. I used to love doing this one as a kid. It just makes my day, it makes me feel so much better. And it's St. Patrick's Day. How do you not love it, right? Okay, nosh on Irish potatoes. Sounds festive enough, right? Baked festive desserts. Now that sounds really fun. And here's the thing, I am not a baking person. I have to be in the mood to bake. That's just part of me who I am. Um, drink a green beer. I don't drink very often, but I don't like beer. I really don't. It smells very terrible. I can't get past the smell of it. But I really don't drink at all. Um, I know that makes me such a bore, but you don't have to be drunk to have fun. Just saying. Um, make St. Patrick's Day crafts. Oh, this is totally me. Here's the thing. As far as the arts go, like I'm not very arts like I like the arts and I like doing artsy stuff, but I'm not a professional artist. By no means whatsoever. But I love it. It's like it's fun. You get to do decorations and stuff like that. Another one, stay sober for crying out loud. That's a good tradition. I mean, I think it'd be fun. Participate in a fun run. Now, I'm not gonna do this by no means, but more power to you if that's your tradition and you love doing it to begin with. Eat corned beef and cabbage. Now, this is something I can get down with. It's tradition. I don't do all the traditions, but I do like some traditions that you can do with it. Um, watch Irish step dancers. Look, Irish step dancers, you get all the applause. Because I have no clue what I'm doing. And it amazes me how y'all do it without falling flat on your face. Help a girl out with clumsy feet here. Just please help a girl out. Um, wear a Kiss Me I'm Irish shirt. Okay, when I was younger, I loved this. However, you do that if you will not see me wearing that because I will punch someone in the face if they try to kiss me. Not gonna lie. I stand by his statement. All I have to say. Um, See a landmark shrouded in green. Okay, I yes and no on this tradition, mainly because imagine the mess you have to clean up. And it's a landmark. We really like unless it's historically relevant to that city and culture, I don't see a point of doing that. I know Chicago like dyes the river green and stuff around this time, but yeah. Attend mass. Look, I have nothing against mass. One of my best friends is Catholic. And my other friend who likes he has tried to get me to go to a mass one day. When he told me at times, I was like, no. And after I've been to a Catholic funeral, why are they so long? If anybody is Catholic, can you please explain to me why Catholic funerals are so long? I've been told weddings are long too, so oh my gosh, why are Catholic? But anyway, but yeah, you won't get me early for a mass. I'm sorry, but you won't. You really won't. I really respect Catholics. I really do. But I'll stick to my Baptist belief. I will. Make Irish soda bread. That actually sounds really good. I really want to try that though. Um, Say Aaron Goldbra. So apparently, this is a Gaelic phrase that is best translated as Ireland forever in English, and it is basically a way of showing affection and support for the country. And you can also incorporate some other Irish terms like slanted when you do cheers. So if I ever go to Boston or Chicago, I think I know what we're doing. Or if I ever go into the Irish area in New York City, which I think is Brooklyn if I'm not mistaken. Um, Go to a parade. I will probably be leaving right afterwards, but but go to a parade. It'd be fun. Have a pint of Guinness. If that is something you like to do, I say go for it. Honestly. Now, let's talk some movies and shows we could be watching. One of my favorites, and I watch it every year around St. Patrick's Day. The Luck of the Irish. I am the original DCOM kid who I love DCOMs. My favorite thing in the world to watch. But I love The Luck of the Irish. It gets funnier every time I see it. Um, the Leprechaun movies. I love them. Don't hate me. But yes, I love the Leprechaun movies. Also, I love horror. Also love true crime and murder. I'm that girl. What can I say? Also Brooklyn is a really good movie to watch. I think it really does show the Irish culture some. All right. Now, let's talk about some symbols for St. Patrick's Day. As we most know, the shamrock is the most obvious one, and this is basically what a culture is was also called the Samoy by Celts. It was um uh a sacred plant in ancient Ireland because it symbolized the rebirth by spring. And by 17th century, the shamrock had become a symbol of emerging Irish nationalism. As the English began to seize Irish lands and make laws against the use of the Irish language, its practice of Catholicism, can't believe I actually said that, and many Irish began to wear the shamrock as a symbol of their pride and their heritage and their displeasure with English rule. Let's talk about some Irish music. Now, music is often associated with St. Patrick's Day and Irish culture in general. From the ancient days of the Celts, music has always been an important part of the Irish life. The Celts have an oral culture, which where religions were like where religion, legend, history has passed on from the next generation to generations in the way of stories and song. Um, but yeah. But after being conquered by the English and forbidden to speak their own language, the Irish, like other oppressed peoples, had to turn music to help them with important ways which told their heritage. And it also stirred up emotion and galvanized music, which was outlawed during the English. And during her reign, Queen Elizabeth I even decreed that all artists and pipers were to be arrested and hanged on the spot. Now, traditional Irish bands like the Chieftains, the Clancy Brothers, and Tommy Mackem will also gain widespread popularity. And their music is produced with instruments used for centuries, including the fiddle, the uniline pipes, which is a sort of like a elaborate bagpipe, a tin whistle, which is basically like a flute that is made of nickel, silver, brass, and aluminum, and the bodhrán, which is basically an ancient type of fun drum that was traditionally used in warfare rather than music. Another symbol is the snake. I personally won't go near a snake, but it has been long recounted that during his mission in Ireland, St. Patrick once stood on a hilltop, which is now called Grove Patrick, with only a wooden staff by his side, banished all the snakes in Ireland. In fact, the island nations was never home to any snakes, and the banishing of the snakes was really a metaphor of the eradication of the pagan ideology from Ireland and its triumph of Christianity. And with 200 years of St. Patrick's arrival, Ireland was completely Christianized. Now, corned beef is St. Patrick's Day food. Every year, thousands of Irish gather with their loved ones on St. Patrick's Day to share a traditional meal of corned beef and cabbage. I personally can still get down with that. Though cabbage has long been an Irish food, corned beef has only began to be associated with St. Patrick's Day in the turn of the 20th century. And Irish immigrants living in NYC's Lower East Side substituted corned beef with the traditional dish of Irish bacon to save money. Now, they learned about the cheaper alternative from their Jewish neighbors. So I'm hearing is Jews and Catholics can coexist. Don't hate me. Don't cancel me, please. It was just a joke. Now, another symbol is the famous leprechauns. And one icon of the Irish holiday is the leprechaun, and it's the original name for some of these figures in folklore, such as the lobrechaun, meaning small bodied fellow. And the belief in this leprechaun probably stems from the Celtic belief in fairies, tiny men and women who use their magical powers to serve good and evil. Now, in Celtic folklore, leprechauns were cranky souls responsible for um, mending the shoes to for like leprechauns were like they were minor figures, like they were known for mending the shoes of the other fairies, and they were minor figures in Celtic folklore. And leprechauns were known for their trickery, which they would use to protect their much fabled treasure. And leprechauns also have their own holiday on May 13th. Do not, you know that thought just went through my head. Um, but are also celebrated as St. Patrick's Day, with many dressing up as wily fairies. Now, let's talk about some random facts. The color associated with St. Patrick was blue, not green. Interesting, but I'm also wearing pink. Well, I'm recording this, so what more you expect, right? St. Patrick wasn't Irish. I knew that for a fact, actually. Look up the history. Look up the history of St. Patrick's Day. Just look it up. Slavery was what brought St. Patrick to Ireland. I knew that too. Also, I knew this one. The shamrock as an Irish symbol is said to have been popularized by St. Patrick. And St. Patrick didn't drive all the snakes out of Ireland. Also, St. Patrick is held on the day he passed away, and he technically isn't a saint. Patrick is even his given name. It was actually Maewyn Succat, and drowning the shamrock is said to have started with St. Patrick. And legend has it that St. Patrick's walking stick grew into a tree while he was preaching. Interesting. But that is it for our St. Patrick's Day. Y'all have fun. Y'all stay safe. If you do drink Drink responsibly. But have fun. Try some new traditions as well.